All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to episode 20. Just want to say 89 days to pitchers and catchers. So getting excited about that already. Don't know how many days it's been since the last day in the season, but I'm looking forward to next year already. Just a few plugs from us. Remember, phillysportshirts.com. Three of us are wearing different shirts on the podcast already today. Chris has the new red that really pops out. Right now, we've got 3 packs, one sticker, one magnet, and one DIY pint glass label for $15. DM us to order, please. They're going fast, so get your orders in quick. We have a free event at Jersey's Sports Bar on 12/2, so December 2nd. Refreshments are pay as you go. Your favorite DPFers will be there. But more importantly, DPF is collecting toys for tots that day. On our Facebook page and our listing for this event is an Amazon list. If you want to contribute but you can't attend on December 2nd, consider ordering on that list, and that gets sent to one of our DPF power couples, Alex and Sig, and they'll make sure that they get it to the Toys for Tots folks. Just 2 rules: no weapons and no food, please. All those details are on the Facebook page as well. Also, for this event, we'll be collecting funds and raising awareness for a rare genetic syndrome called Wiedemann-Steiner syndrome, or WSS. Really hits home close for me because my youngest daughter, who's 15, actually has that syndrome. Less than 2,000 kids, people across the globe have that rare syndrome. So if you can, please help out with a donation this holiday season. It'll go towards research, or next summer there is a family conference, and they'll use some of that money for scholarships for families to be able to meet expert doctors to help manage their child's complex medical needs. And lastly, a little preview. So tons of you guys have mentioned, including me, to Chris, hey, can we get a hat with DPF on there? And happy to say that the DPF crew here is partnered with a local business, and we're very, very close to debuting the first ever in the history of the universe DPF ball cap. I'm super excited, clearly, for that launch. And maybe if you come on 12/2, there may be a prototype to see at Jersey's. So with that being said, I will kick it over to Chris for our first segment of the day.
Yeah, so I want to, my comments are more back to baseball. And, I think the pendulum has swung so far in the 3 home run. I mean, Earl Weaver kind of talked about this in the 70s and 80s, but it swung so far this way, and it's even went farther with analytics. I'm just tired of it. I don't think it works. I think that the other way of baseball works better. And that's what I want to kind of talk about. When's the last time in a game for the Phillies? I don't give a shit about other teams for the most part. You saw a hit and run. Yeah, crickets probably, because it doesn't happen. And why doesn't that happen? Well, because we have guys like Nicky C, who is, swinging and missing at 42% of the pitches. I have I did a list of swing and miss rate. So this is a chase rate. It's not a strike, and it's outside the strike zone. So Schwarber is really good at not doing that. He's not good at hitting the balls right over the plate, but he doesn't swing at balls, 21.6%. Other guys like Stott, pretty good, 29%. Here's the bad, Turner, 35.3. Harper, 33.4. The league average is right around 29. So anytime we're going above that, it's causing problems. Up and down our lineup, it's a consistent issue with swinging at balls that should not be swung at. Like, we're all not pro players, right? And I know that they're looking like a fastball and coming outside, but Nick, he has to know that why would anyone throw a strike to Nick C if he's swinging at 41%? You're an idiot for throwing 60% over. He should have 100% of the pitches, not a strike, because it's not going to happen. I wanted to talk a little bit about, that pendulum swinging. And what I mean is it went so far to the home run and power. I want to swing back. Now, I'm going to be, a little grumpy sounding. Like, I want baseball to be a little bit more bunting. When was the last time? And here's just a for instance, it's first and second. There's no outs. It's your 7 or 8 hitter up, and they're not, or 9 hitter, and they're bunting. They're not doing it. And what are we doing? Nick hit into an incredible amount of double plays. All through, like, I don't know if it was July or August, this dude's hitting in the double plays like anything, and he's either striking out or hitting the double plays. Like, I know his stats were so much better, but he's a drag on the offense. He just cannot continue to do that year in and year out. And he has. While his stats went up, he's been terrible. You can't do that. So I play Stratomatic a lot. And just a quick primer, Stratomatic is like a cards and dice-based game. What it is really, it was the precursor to fantasy baseball. So you're kind of rolling dice. They make these cards for each person's year. They're average. So you have 4 dice. You're kind of using these cards, rolling it. And a lot of times what people do is they'll make up, like fantasy teams. You can grab someone from the 08 Phils, someone from the 27 Yankees, from the 2023 Phils. In this game, it is absolutely fundamental. Here's the things that matter. You have to be able to move runners. Someone that has a high strikeout rate, you're not drafting or you're not using. It's just not happening. The second thing is defense, specifically at the corners and up the middle. It's a huge difference. So Stratomatic will have a system of fielders that are like, you're a 1, that means you're a Gold Glove. A 5, it's Rhys Hoskins is a 5. To give you an idea, like that's where it goes. 1 is a Gold Glove, 2 and 3 are like, 2 is very good, 3 is like league average, 4 is like he's probably out there for hitting, but his fielding's not good. And the third is pitching. The Phillies don't excel at any of those right now, honestly. Like, their defense is better, but Trey Turner's an absolute disaster up the middle. And I hope he bounces back, but I can tell when I was watching with all these guys, every throw that was happening, every ball hits him, we were all like, oh, like shit. He's like getting under the ball, but that's besides the point. My ideal situation would be for the Phillies to kind of have 2 hitters that are swing for the fences guys, and the rest are either more contact. And what I mean by more contact is under the league average of chasing outside, putting the ball in play, moving runners. We did steal a little bit more than normal, but that's kind of where I am. And I'm just hoping that the pendulum swings. And I want it to go all the other way. Like, I want the prototypical leadoff hitter. I want the second guy who like can spray the ball all over, hit it behind a runner. The third batter is like your best hitter. The fourth guy, like, you can swing for the fences. So if you construct our lineup in that way, I think that Stott should lead off, period. He had the best at bats, and he doesn't have a terrible amount of power. So putting him at 5 or 6, I think it's a disservice to him. I think he would flourish in the 1. Put him in the 1. I don't like the idea of kind of like moving players around into different positions. You're 1, you're 2, you're 7, you're 8. If someone's in a slump, then you have to do it. But that's kind of just my soliloquy on, the state of baseball and what could make a difference for the Phillies this coming year. We saw that it's all for nothing, and all for nothing got us knocked the fuck out. And I'm sick of getting knocked out. It's the time to win is now, and they have to make changes. What are my changes? I don't have a problem with getting rid of Schwarber. I don't have a problem getting rid of Castellanos. Those are the 2 guys that are like big problems. And honestly, Rojas, like, he's a drone. All he can do is catch. He cannot hit. He's swinging from the fences. His baseball IQ is fucking terrible. It's like he's just swinging from his ass at all times. So, guys, what do you think? Is there any dissent or agreement?
No, I agree with you, Chris. And I actually think, in some of the interviews I've seen with general managers around the league, in particular Seattle's general manager Jerry Dipoto, he mentioned the number of strikeouts that his team had this year. He had 3 of the top strikeout guys in baseball, and they already made a decision not to bring back Teoscar Hernandez because he was part of that threesome of strikeout guys. And he's already looking. His exact words were, "We need to make more contact." And I think that's the big problem around baseball, and obviously a big problem that the Phillies have. When they're all making contact, they look like world beaters. You know, they're going to put up 6, 7, 8 runs in a game when they're making contact. But when the Phillies team goes cold, they all go cold together. And it can be really boring baseball and really bad baseball because it's a strikeout, walk, or a home run. And they need to get back to more station-to-station baseball, hitting doubles, moving runners, moving guys up with bunts, sac flies. You mentioned Castellanos and his double plays. I got it right here. He hitting 17 double plays this year. And that didn't even lead the team. Alex Boehm did with 23. I think there are situations where, the Phillies could have taken advantage of a bunt, move a guy up, and steal a couple runs. If you think back to those Pittsburgh Pirates teams of the early 90s, it was the leadoff batter got on, Jay Bell bunted them over, Bonds hit a single, and they scored. And they did it every game, and it didn't matter. First inning, second inning, whenever Jay Bell came up with a runner on base, he was bunting out of the 2-hole, and that team, was good for a number of years. And Arizona, they played small ball against us in games 6 and 7. They weren't hitting home runs; they were stealing bases, getting the clutch singles, moving guys up with ground balls, and hitting sac flies, and that's how they beat us. So I definitely
85
hope that
Cardinals, Chris. Coleman, McGee, Tommy Herr, Jack Clark.
One big home run hitter in the whole group. So I think that's I want to see, and I think the baseball guys running these teams are starting to realize that this all or nothing. It's a lot more nothing than it is all. And the teams that play the smaller ball are more successful. So that's where I'm at. I'm with you.
I think that, that tees you up really nicely, Dugan, to go to the next segment and talk a little bit about Casty. So why don't you do that?
Yeah. And a lot of what Chris said is kind of where I'm going, where, Castellanos, we all heard the rumors that the Phillies might be looking to trade him. True or not, I definitely think it's something that they should be looking into, just because he's a hitter that fits the profile of way too many Phillies players. These all or nothing swings. I was looking at more or less like the strikeout percentages of our at bats that the Phillies had this year. On average, the Phillies struck out this year. The team average was 27% of their at bats you struck out. They struck out over almost 1,500 times this year in 162 games. If you took that, and just struck out every batter, 27 batters every game, that's over 9 games that the Phillies, all their outs would be strikeouts. That's incredible to me that can happen in baseball. But the Phillies have a whole bunch of guys that, Realmuto struck out 28% of the time, higher than the team average. Schwarber, 37% of the time. Brandon Marsh was surprising. He struck out 36% of his at-bats this year. Castellanos was at 30%. Just looking at the starter, Rojas, 28% in limited time. I kind of agree with Chris where Stott is probably better suited to be a top-of-the-lineup guy. My only concern with Stott is he doesn't walk much. He's not a big walk guy. But I think Castellanos is a guy that, because of the bounce back year that he had, he's more easy to be moved than Schwarber just because he plays the outfield too. He's not one-dimensional. He's a two-dimensional player. So I think he could draw some interest. Big salary. He's up and down. That's the other thing with Castellanos, and it's a similar thing with a lot of players on this team where it's a roller coaster ride. They get hot, they get cold. If you look at his splits for the months, he hit 313 in March and April, 265 in May, 351 in June, 162 in July, 293 in August, 240 in September and October. It's this. The Phillies need more consistency. Guys need to be consistent throughout the entire season. His first half hit 301, second half 235. And it's not a mystery. We all saw it. In the first half, he was a more disciplined hitter. He wasn't swinging at those balls low and away, and then he fell back into 2022 Castellanos in the second half. And other than that little tear he went on in the Brave series, he was awful in the playoffs. Especially in the against Arizona, 0 for 23 with 11 strikeouts or whatever it was. He looked terrible, and as like Chris said, why throw him a strike? He's not, he's gonna swing at his ass, So when they talk about these rumors of possibly trading Castellanos, and then the Phillies obviously come back and say, "Oh, we're not trading Castellanos," I definitely think if they get the right deal, he's gone. I was looking around at some of the free agents that are available, and the problem is, I think that pendulum has swung so far to all or nothing. There aren't that many contact guys around anymore, So for the Phillies, it might be more of needing to retrain some of their guys, even some of the younger guys. I mean, Stott struck out 100 times this year. Bohm struck out 95 times this year. Guys who aren't really power hitters still have high strikeout numbers. So maybe they need to work on their plate discipline a little and become a little more of a tougher out. The strikeouts are just phenomenal. I mean, Brandon Marsh, part-time, he was sitting a lot against lefties. He still struck out 144 times. Like it's just the offense is too full of worthless outs. There's no productive outs being made. It's strikeouts. And I mean, you go back to the playoffs, that streak of 16 straight solo home runs. That is ridiculous. That's a ridiculous stat that they hit 16 straight solo home runs. That just tells you they're not getting on base. Nobody gets on base. They hit home runs or they strike out. Nobody's getting on base. And that's the biggest downfall in this team. And that's why I think a guy like Castellanos is a good candidate to be moved, because he does have value coming off of a decent season. His numbers look good, 29 homers, over 100 RBIs. But he's part of the problem with this offense. He's a big part of the problem. But the guys that are out there, I think, are more like bench guys and more guys that are kind of in that same mode. When you talk about like an Adam Duvall, strikes out a lot, big power guy. Hunter Renfroe strikes out a lot, big power guy. And I don't know that they're everyday guys. They'd be nice bench pieces to give you a little right-handed pop off the bench that the Phillies didn't have, at all this season, and could spot start for you. But I don't see a guy that's out there other than maybe through the trade market, that maybe could come in here and be more of a contact guy and that lead off or 1-2 type hitter that moves runners along and does the little things that help set up a lineup and help the team win. I think Bohm might be a candidate to be that guy, because he can hit the ball the other way and he does those little things. He's not really a big power hitter right now. But I for one, if they got the right deal, I think Castellanos is a guy that's gone. I don't know how you guys feel about it.
I think I've put my opinion out there a couple of times. There's a Philly native that plays on the West Coast that I would package Castellanos and one or two of our prospects for sure. So I'm on the get what you can get for him now train for sure.
Yeah. Like just after that bounce back season, he just said, like you said, Dugan, I mean, his value, I don't think his value is going to be much higher than now, honestly. And he's only getting older. I mean, he's not no spring chicken. I mean, he's not super old, but I'm just saying. I agree with moving him if you find the right deal. And I'm with Mike's idea. I'm slowly hopping on the train. But my worry is just, where do you put the dude if you get him?
Center field.
Because he's not going to be there too much longer, though. I don't see him patrolling center for more than maybe like 2-3 more years tops.
Then figure it out then after we win 2 World Series.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So cool, guys. I'm gonna go to some comments. So Garrett, sup, man? I don't remember if the last time we met up, Garrett said, "Hey, but hey, Garrett, good to see you." Hey, Nick, thank you. Our first fuck the Mets. Appreciate that. Let's see. Timothy, your posts are the shit during the season. Y'all think and talk just like my wife and I. If I had $1 for every time I heard this, I would have a lot of dollars. I think everybody on this call can attest to that. So I appreciate that, Timothy. Nancy, always good to see you. Thanks, Nance, for chiming in. And Alex has put the Toys for Tots and the link for the foundation for Wiedemann-Steiner syndrome on the chat. Mike, happy Thanksgiving to you too. I will be frying my 16th turkey in a row this Thanksgiving. It's 3.5 beers for an 18-pound turkey, just so you guys know. And fuck the Mets. Let's see who else.
We met Mike when we went out to the Second Sin and
yes,
Yeah.
So
Mike's awesome.
Thanks for saying that.
Yep.
Here you can maybe field this one. Dugan Bud says Cassie's problem is he's so mental.
He's definitely mental, but I just think he's an undisciplined hitter, and I don't think he can have a season where he doesn't fall back into those bad habits of chasing pitches. And the funny thing is, 2 years ago when both Schwarber and Castellanos were free agents, I wanted Castellanos more than I wanted Schwarber, just because I thought he was a better hitter overall. I still kind of do. Schwarber's is really all or nothing. Casty at least hits. He hits quite a few doubles. I think he's a better hitter, but that chase rate is just it's just terrible. It's terrible.
I'm gonna go to one more, and then we're gonna kick it to John. Sig says can't blame Bohm too much for all the double plays. Batting second with Schwarber on first base is a double play waiting to happen. So
I don't think Schwarber being on base caused that much. Bohm runs slow enough for
he
double play
all on his own.
But, yeah.
All right, cool. Well, it's the part of the program that I look forward to a lot too, guys, to be honest with you. It's the farm team spotlight with Johnny. So, John, you're up.
Okay. As you may or may not have known, I've thrown some posts up on the page, on the Facebook page, about the Fall League recently here and there. Our Scottsdale Scorpions were all the Phillies were out on the squad. They lost in the semifinals, unfortunately. And then
sounds familiar.
And they lost in Philly fashion too, Dugan. They went up 9-0 in the first inning, and Peoria came back and won 12-9.
Was Familia? Did they bring Familia in the game or something? Jesus Christ!
He might have been down there, but yeah, they lost in the semifinals.
Brandon Workman.
Yeah, Workman. Oh shit.
I was going to spotlight. Not spotlight, but I was going to mention the guy that he was. I was mentioning before we started that was the breakout player of the whole, breakout player of the year for the Fall League. But now he's a Brewer as of the other day. So good luck in the Brew City. I'm not familiar with the two. I posted on our page that when they made the trade. I'm not familiar with the two players, but I mean I could dig into that. But it was a Rule 5 thing, But two of the players that did pretty well were Gabriel Racones Jr., which I mentioned him on the pod before. Pretty much is cemented in left field right now because there's too many DHs. Obviously, he's blocked up here. I mean, he's not going to be up anytime soon, but maybe if he makes, if he comes up, probably in the next couple of years, maybe 2-3 years. But he's on the blue calls now, so I mean, he's not going to. But he's blocked as far as up here. But he's pretty much cemented there because of his arm. And but he's known for he's a good power bat. He played in 22 games, had a couple homers, 14 RBIs. On average was 293. He was swinging the bat very well in the home run derby, and I didn't even know until this year that the Fall League had the home run derby. So that was pretty cool checking that out. I didn't get to catch it live, but I caught some of it. So that was cool. And Andrew Baker, he might be my new Kirkering this year, man. I don't think he's going to be up. I don't think he's going to be up on the big league squad, but I mean, if he keeps playing like this, who knows? He was scorching down there. He didn't let up too many runs. He only got into like about 7 games, but he was lighting it up. He went on like six of the games. He let up no runs in his first 6 games, and I was trying to look up his ERA earlier. I couldn't find it, but I know as of the last time I checked, because he only played 7 games, so it's 6 out of 7. I mean, he had a very low ERA, so he was on fire, and I kept seeing tweets and things about him. So he was kicking ass. But unfortunately, the league's over. If you want to catch any Phillies in action coming up, starting this weekend, there's a lot of the blue calls are going to be on the Adelaide Giants of the Australian Baseball League. You can go on the Adelaide Giants website and find out, how you can stream for free. I plan on doing so when I can. I mean, because of the time difference, it might be difficult. But there's a few. And I was telling Mike before we started the show, I gotta dig into it again. But I did read somewhere. I thought I could. I swear I saw a clip somewhere of where Derek Hall might be going down there too. Not sure. I'm kind of interested in why, because he's a little older. But I mean, we'll see what happens. Could be a trade piece, polish. I don't know. Who knows? But if you're interested in that, and if you're interested in watching baseball in only Spanish, you can check out Carlos De La Cruz play in the Dominican League on MLB.com. I tried to do the homework for everybody out there and hit the closed captioning, but that's in Spanish too. So I just pretty much wait until they go Carlos De La Cruz, and then I watch them bat, and then I get a beer, go do what I'm doing, and I come back. But that's all I got on the minor leagues for now.
Awesome. Joel, I know you were talking about the Spanish stuff, and like I will often watch soccer in Spanish because it is amazing. Like when you hear the guy, and goal is GOL, but the dude goes absolutely apeshit. Like honestly, when you're listening to this or watching this, just say Spanish announcer goal call. This dude will go goal, and it goes on for a minute. I am not shitting you. It is amazing. Then he's like, go, 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 go. He like has a conniption fit.
Maybe we're now promoting. We should try and look at Babbel as a sponsor. Possibly we can promote them. I think we're going to do a little juggle and go Mount Rushmore of baseball movies, guys. As we collect some more comments, so I'm going to start. And I'm going to give you my 4 and a quick reason why, and then we'll go around the horn. So just think about Mount Rushmore, everybody. Picture that in your mind. And I'm going left to right on mine. So what I did was I bookended my 2 favorite, and then in the middle are 2 kind of more sentimental favorites, right? So I think my all-time is Major League for a lot of reasons. I think I quote that movie second most to Tombstone in my, everyday life. And I think my daughters are all tired of it. And then I go next, The Rookie. A lot of times my wife would say, you should get your elbow fixed and try and do what he did. And I just laughed because I could never throw 98 miles an hour. Not even close. So next to that, Field of Dreams, who doesn't want their dad to come walking out of corn and have a catch with them after he's been gone for however long. And then finally, my second favorite, and maybe Major League and Bull Durham are interchangeable, is Bull Durham. So those are my 4: Major League, The Rookie, Field of Dreams, and Bull Durham. Chris, you're up.
Which one?
Well, I'm calling him Dugan from now on, and you, Chris. So.
Right. You know what? Mine is Pride of the Yankees. I'm honestly no, it's not Pride of the Yankees. Fuck the Yankees too. In no order. The Natural is one of them. Movie is better than the book. If you like the movie, don't read the book. Trust me, don't do it. Field of Dreams, because like it's okay for guys to cry. There is crying in baseball. If you don't cry every time that's on, you don't have soul. The The third one is going to be Major League. So many quotable moments in that. Just love it. And then Bull Durham, Annie Savoy. Man, I love Kevin, like Costner, but Susan Sarandon plays such a great part in that. And, just kind of like that old school feel. So those are mine.
Cool. Dugan?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we can all say Bull Durham, Field of Dreams, so I'm going to go 4 different ones. I like 8 Men Out, the story of the White Sox, the 1919 White Sox, Black Sox, whatever you want to call it. I love that movie. The Natural, I think The Natural is just phenomenal. And 2 of the ones that I really like that are kind of funny, I like The Sandlot, and that goes back to my kids. We used to call it the Baseball Boys. They always wanted to watch the Baseball Boys. Dad, can we watch the Baseball Boys? That brings back a lot of great memories from when my girls were younger. Them wanting to watch that movie. And then my last one is my favorite of all time, The Bad News Bears. The original Bad News Bears is the best. It's me and my friends just busting balls when we were 7, 8, 9, 10 years old playing baseball, cursing, thinking at baseball, but most of us were anyway. And it was just that movie just makes me laugh. The drunk coach, and I think it was all of our little league experience. And really, really funny movie. So one of my favorites. I always watch it whenever I catch it. So.
I can remember that, Chris, you and I walking up the street and just finding empties of Schmitz and just taking a few chugs, acting like Buttermaker.
There we go. Yeah. And now I got that little cooler that I carry around just like you did.
Nice. Johnny, give us yours, my friend.
I got let's start off with one. It's more of a documentary than a movie. The Battered Bastards of Baseball. It's a great flick, and it's a true story about what was it? Hold on, I just had it on my phone. It was the Portland Mavericks. I'm sorry, I forgot the name. About the Portland Mavericks. It was a short season Class A team in Portland from 73 to 77. Bing Russell, Kurt Russell's dad, owns them, and Kurt Russell actually played for them for a little bit. It was a very interesting story. I had no clue about at all until I'm like, I saw the title. I'm like, I'm in. Battered Bastards of Baseball. What's it about? Like, is it a beer league? What's going on? And I just checked it out. Very cool. 61 with Barry Pepper as Roger Maris, and you even get a cool Anthony Michael Hall as Whitey Ford in there. But that was a good flick, straight to HBO. But The Natural, obviously for obvious reasons, and pretty much my favorite is Field of Dreams. But if I ever see Papa John walking out of corn, like I don't know what's gonna like what the fuck. But yeah, and I'm gonna actually admit something, and this is not in my top 4 of my Mount Rushmore. I've never seen Bull Durham, so shame on me. Boo. I know a lot of people have it. Yeah, I need to do my homework on that.
I think maybe John's about to have technical difficulty. Hold on.
I was going to say, where's the remove button?
That's one movie I just never got around to, but I definitely need to.
Yeah,
it's in English.
Remote. It is in English.
Yeah.
Take your remote and say Bull Durham after this and watch it. Trust me. You won't be disappointed.
No Durham de los Bulls?
Sí, muy bien. Cool. Chris, you want to go through a few viewer comments?
Sure. All right. So let's see where you left off.
With Sig.
Yeah. So Ralph, what's up, gents? Appreciate that, man. Thanks for joining in. He also wants to say, how about them Flyers? They're doing good, man. That's kind of cool. We do have drunk Flyers fans, so check that out if you're listening. Bud, what's up, man? Bohm is going to be a stud. I'm not convinced, but I hope. I think Bohm is not a 4-hitter, and having him in the 4-hitter is disservice to him. And I think he's more of a 2 or a 6.
Exactly
nothing
what
in
I was going
between,
to say.
but-
2 or 6.
Well,
Yep.
We are
Yeah.
allowed.
2 or 6. Yep. Perfect.
Nick wants to say Bull Durham definitely has to be on there. Yeah, so John dropped
So
off.
by the
but,
way,
yo, man,
on that one,
did
I
you
did
kick
not
his ass
kick him
off?
out. I did not.
I was like, did you kick his ass off? You did. I don't believe it. But
There, I
let
just
John
added
sit
him
in this.
back.
I was gonna say, like, John, Mike just admitted that he kicked you off on purpose, and I was like,
No,
why'd you do that?
Put him in the bathroom. Put him in the
I
bathroom.
went to look in the,
Put him in the fucking
I went to
bathroom.
look in the comments on here on the version on our screen, and I hit log in for some reason, and it just blipped me out. But I let Mike think he kicked me out.
One of
That's
the-
fine.
One of the DPF wives said that's the rookie. I think that's her Mikey.
There you go.
So that's awesome. Thanks for joining and listening in, Carrie. Guilty pleasure. Angels in the outfield.
Hokey, but
It's
I
okay.
get it.
Yeah, I do get it. I was wondering if anyone was going to do Bingo Long and the Traveling All-Stars with Richard Pryor, like about the Negro Leagues, because that's honestly pretty good. It just doesn't make the Rushmore, right?
Right.
And then we'll end up with Brian. How about Moneyball? You know what? There's a lot of quotable moments in that. My wife probably likes it more because Brad Pitt's in it, right? Yeah.
Look
She
where it
doesn't
got
even
him.
know
It
it's
got him
about
all the way.
baseball.
Got him all the way to Vegas.
Yeah, I've never seen that one either.
Then Bud's, I'll end up with him before we move on. What do you guys think Dave does as a trade or a signing? I think it's easier to do a signing, but I think it'll be an inconsequential signing. I think it's going to be like one of these Rule 5 or like Dylan Covey type things where we're just going to get like our long reliever signed first. But I'll let you guys answer that as well.
They made a couple of minor moves with Tampa Bay where they picked up a couple of their relief pitchers. The one, I think that Josh Fleming, the lefty, he may have a shot to get a role in the bullpen. He might be that left-handed Dylan Covey type role this year, kind of a long man. I don't know the other guy. He was a right-hander. I don't know him as well. I did do a little looking into Fleming. So, but, anybody you can get from the Tampa Bay Rays, I'm all for it because they seem to find good ones. And I think they just run out of spaces for all the pitchers that they have. So
I will say one thing that I won't be surprised about after reading around the internet a few times that they're looking to extend Wheeler and maybe miss this whole stupid Aaron Nola situation. So I won't be surprised if that's something that gets done early, Chris. Just my 2 cents.
Yeah.
He's 34 this year. He's 33 right now.
33, yeah.
But he'll be 34 in May,
yeah.
I think it is. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Is that a 3-year deal? And
I think so.
I don't know what it is.
Something like that.
2 or 3 years.
Yep.
I think
2 with a team option.
Team option. I think I know it might not be popular, but I mean, I'm hearing they're interested big time. I know a couple other teams are, but I say he goes balls to the wall and gets Hader, secures Hader, and open up the floodgates. Like, all right, maybe interested in a starting pitcher. Like, hey, we got Hader, we add him to the staff. Come on over.
I don't hate it, John. I got to be honest with you.
I do. Hader's a fucking asshole.
I get it.
I think if you guys don't know that, I'm sure you do, but he's an asshole, and I just don't want that dude on this team, regardless. But I'll talk about like what I think the bullpen will happen later. But I don't like Hader.
I was going to talk about Trevor Bauer. Do you hate him too?
I did, like when the media was like, "Hey, this dude's a terrible dude," and like I get it.
But
I'm a terrible guy as well at times, but he's
he got set
if
up.
he's got an ERA under 2, like
we're
he
good.
can fucking be a terrible guy. I don't care.
Yeah.
Very cool. Oh, we lost Dugan too. All right. Oh, there he's back. Hold on.
Lost you guys.
All
I don't know
right.
what happened. I don't know what happened there. You guys went blank on me.
You're
It's
back
Mike again.
Mike threw me out too.
I am
Got the
driving
finger,
today. Two
Finger,
people got
put him in
kicked
the
out.
bathroom.
That's
I
it.
don't want his
Chris.
face looking at his face.
All right, guys. We're going to roll into a fan favorite. We have a segment called the Oh Dumbass of the Week. Thank you, Chris. So I really enjoy this one because we're going to call the couple that we're going to talk about today on the Oh Dumbass of the Week, Mr. and Mrs. B. That's Mr. and Mrs. Ballsy. So for those of you who are just joining or haven't joined in a while, the Oh Dumbass of the Week is an ode to Odubel Herrera, who I dubbed the Oh Dumbass for some of the things and decisions that he made on the field and in the batter's box and sometimes off the field. So we'll call them Mr. and Mrs. B. They've been arrested and charged with defrauding Medicare for $13 million. So here's their alleged MO. They would peruse the obituaries in their area, North Carolina, and find deceased elderly individuals with Medicare. And then they would backbill services that they never performed, allegedly, for them, for that deceased individual for up to a year prior to their death. And they would bill those from a company that I'll use air quotes here, healthcare company that they founded in 2017. So this being 2023, they got away with this for 5 years. So this is where they become dumbasses, in my opinion. So after getting away with this, starting around the summer of 2022, the duo started posting pics on Instagram for things like, their $900,000 private jet. Or they took a picture of 27 boxes of Tiffany jewelry. And when someone commented, "Oh, is this a special occasion?" they would say, "Oh, no, this is just a regular day for us." Thousands and thousands, almost tens of thousands in exercise equipment. And then they started posting they're going on these lavish vacations to all these resorts, and they would fly to Vegas and have a meal at a 5-star restaurant and post it. So authorities, guess what? They saw these posts, and they got really suspicious of these folks. And once they investigated, they were under arrest for defrauding Medicare for $13 million. So just another case of where social media brought out the Oh Dumbass in people. And that is our Oh Dumbass of the week. So
I feel like
thanks,
we have
guys.
to upgrade and get like some sound bites and have it be like, "Yo, dumbass of the week." Like a laugh track. We'll get there. We're not there yet.
Hey, we're only 20 in, 19 and a half in, right?
We'll get there.
Very cool. I'll buzz right into starting pitchers, guys. So I want to talk a little bit about some further down the line. We've discussed Blake Snell and Corbin Burns and Yamamoto and Montgomery and keeping Aaron Nola and all those free agents and trades and stuff like that. But I want to highlight 4 free agents and 2 trades that we haven't really talked about a lot. There's not been a lot in the media. Like here and there, I see rankings of some of these guys, and I just really I'm interested, right? So what happens if those top tier folks go elsewhere? And we're still in need. Let's say Aaron goes somewhere else, and we're still in need of replacing a number 2, or 3, and adding a 2 or a 3. So I just dove into a few guys. So we got Eduardo Rodriguez is my first free agent, left-handed pitcher, 31 years old. 3.30 ERA this year in 26 starts. The funny thing is he opted out. He had a player option for 3 years and $49 million. So you gotta figure the Tigers say, hey, we're going to go into another rebuilding, session or years or whatever. So he opts out. So you got to figure he's going to make more than that 49 million in 3 years, which, puts him in that price range that I think we've been talking about. So that's my first guy. I like, we talked about Yamamoto a lot, but we haven't talked about Shota, I think is how you say his first name. Left-handed pitcher. He's 30 years old. He started the gold medal game for Japan in last year's baseball classic. He was 7-5 this year with a 2.66 ERA. You like that ERA? I certainly do. I said he was 30, right? He's been one of the best pitchers in that Central League in Japan, really since 2016. And he's more than a strikeout per inning type guy throughout his entire career. So kind of like that, if we're going to go into that international market, and, Yamamoto is already off the table. Third guy I have is going over to the right-handed pitcher side, 28 years old, kind of a lower cost option in Jack Flaherty. Flaherty, he's, one of these guys that for a long time he was considered one of the best young pitchers coming up, and he had a rough couple of years, the last 2 years, where in 38 games, 35 starts in those games, he had a 4.84 ERA. But prior to that, he had been, around that sub 3, like a 2.89 ERA. So maybe getting him on a little bit of a discount. I would love to get another younger player with some time that he has to develop in that 2 or 3 slot. And then last is another right-handed pitcher, a little bit more experience, veteran Sonny Gray. He was 8-8 last year, but he had a 2.7 ERA, ranked second in the American League, and 2.9 ERA over 303 2/3 innings since the start of 2022. So interested in seeing the market for him as well. Those are my 4 free agents. I'll just go in quickly to 2 trades that I would be interested in after the ones that we've already talked about in prior podcasts. I like Shane Bieber. Some people will kill me for that, but 2020 he won the pitching triple crown, and then last season in 21 starts he had a 128 innings and a 3.80 ERA. He's looking to be around that $12 million price tag. So if he can stay healthy, he could be an option for a trade that doesn't cost you, some of those prospects that we don't really want to lose. And then lastly, I should say, Dylan Cease, second place in Cy Young voting in 2022 with a 2.20 ERA, 227 strikeouts and 184 innings. And then that was last year. This year slightly had a slightly down year, and a little bit of injury, 4.58 ERA and 177 innings. But this is a 2-year control for the team. So that might be something that puts him, that makes him a little bit more attractive for the Phillies. So just a few things that I had to highlight for starting pitching, either on the free agent market or through trade. So any comments on any of that, guys?
Yeah, Mike, are you out on Snell?
I'm not out on Snell. I just feel like we've talked about him. So I went a little bit deeper in these. So I'm a huge proponent of those guys that I talked about in the beginning, like Snell, Burns, Yamamoto, Montgomery, keeping Aaron, Giolotti, those guys. I'm just saying, if those guys don't work out, these are some guys that I looked into that I would want on our team.
Yeah, I'm out on Snell. That's why I asked, because it's like this dude's playing in a barn, like a humongous stadium, and he's walking the goddamn ballpark, pitching 5 innings. I'm out on this dude. Not interested. He's
I mean,
a right-handed Nola.
I mean, I talked about Trevor Bauer a minute going into this. He did really well overseas last year. He was really set up in all the that whole court case that he was in. It would be interesting to see if we could get him on a 1-year prove it deal too. So,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm with you on Bieber. Remember when we were talking about at the trade deadline? He was one of my targets, but then he got hurt unfortunately, and I had to shut him down for the rest of the season. But I mean, if you can't go get Burns or whatever, and you're looking for a trade target, I mean, he's still in his prime. He's not going to cost like crazy money. He'll cost you a little bit, but he's not going to. I mean, once you get him here, obviously, but I don't think he'll cost too much in trade return either. Per se, but
right.
I'm with you on that. I'm worried about Gray though. I'm worried about Gray this year being the best season he's ever had, and he's like what 32, 33. So I'm kind of like worried if he might just because his whole career has been like up and down.
Sonny Gray's 34.
On the other ones. 34. Okay, yeah, I thought he was around like 33 or so. Yeah, 34. Like I'm worried. That worries me about this past year being his best year of his whole career. It's like, I don't know, but I'm with you on the other names though. I like the other names you brought to the table.
I think the biggest problem, and I think it's a problem baseball wide, is all these pitchers are of the analytic age where you're not getting more than 5 or 6 innings out of most of these guys.
Yeah.
And Nola being Nola, whatever he is, he was giving you innings, and he took the ball every day. So that's going to be tough to replace if you lose Nola. But if you look at like Nola and Sonny Gray's careers, they almost mirror each other. Their stats are very similar across the board. Sonny Gray's a little older. I don't know if Nola's ever had an ERA as good as Sonny Gray's ERA was this year. So their career numbers are pretty parallel. So I think any of these guys that you're going to get, even like Burns doesn't go deep into games. Not only are you going to have, someone to replace Nola, you may actually need to get another bullpen arm that you can depend on, because these guys are only going to go, 5 8. Where you have Wheeler, who usually goes into the 7th. Nola was getting you into the 6th. I know he had some rough starts where he barely got to the 5th, but your top 2 guys were going deeper in games than I think most top 2 guys in baseball. And the Philly starters probably were tops in the innings that they pitched this year. So all these guys are just 5-inning guys, and that worries me. From a bullpen standpoint of just burning out your bullpen come playoff time. So maybe you sign a Sonny Gray, then you also got to go get another bullpen arm to supplement the loss of those 2 or 3 innings a start from Nola. You got maybe 60 innings there. You got to account for. But I like Sonny Gray. I think he's a solid pitcher. I love Eduardo Rodriguez. He was a guy I was hoping they would try and trade for at the deadline. And he's young enough that you could give him a 4 or 5 year contract and feel comfortable with it. You still have Walker, and Sanchez. I know they paid Walker a lot of money, but I have zero confidence in Walker. I don't think he's that good. So are we replacing Nola, or are we trying to replace 2 guys? And is Walker a guy that the Phillies might look to move? Or is Sanchez a guy they might see him as maybe that bullpen piece, that guy that can give you length and come in and give you 2 or 3 innings when Sonny Gray only gives you 5. I don't know. So I think there's options for the Phillies, but they're going to have to find innings because Nola did give you innings. So.
Yeah, it's funny you say. I just thought about that too. It's funny you said about you might have to go get to replace Nola. Might have to go get another bullpen piece. When's the last time we had a true like long reliever? You know what I mean? That guy you could bring in for like 2, 3. You know what I mean? That stud. Yeah. We haven't had one in a while. We might need to go and get one.
They used Matt Schramm kind of in that role this year. He pitched a
Yeah,
lot
they
of
were.
multiple
Yeah,
innings.
I was about to say.
Yeah, but
Yeah. Awesome, guys. I appreciate it. We're going to kick it over to Chris for Phillies bullpen. And then once he's done with that, we'll go to some comments and wrap it up because we're coming up here on the top of the hour. So, Chris,
I got to
over to
jump,
you.
fellas. I got to jump.
Awesome.
I got to
Cool.
take my
See you,
All right,
dudes.
All right,
thanks,
see you,
guys.
Chris.
Fun.
Be
See
good.
ya.
So my thoughts on the bullpen, and I made a post about this, is I feel, and Mike, I'm going to lean heavily on you here. If you're a starter, you're a starter. If you're a bullpen guy, you kind of want to know where you fit in. And I understand that you may not be the ninth inning guy, but I'd like to know if I'm like the 6, 7, 8 inning guy. The Phillies don't have that. So I, alluded to earlier, I'm against Hader. And I'm a hater. And the reason is I think we have the guy here already. I don't think you pay a lot of money because I honestly think you give the reins of the ninth to Alvarado. And I think that the bridge to him, because we're looking back and I'm thinking, oh, wait, Romero, Madsen, Lidge, and we have that right now. And I'm thinking it's, Kirkering, Hoffman, Alvarado. And, or Dominguez. I think we have that. I don't think we spend the money. I think that Hoffman has shown enough. This happens, right, guys? People aren't exactly like the pedigree and they're supposed to do it. Hoffman's a little bit older, but he had a great year. I don't see how he's not your 7th or 8th inning guy. At the end of the year, Hoffman came in and I was like, all right, we're good. I was confident. Dominguez, not as much, but he can build that back. And maybe last year was the mulligan. Alvarado, I think, is your guy, your 9th inning guy. I'm not looking to add to the bullpen, honestly. I think we have the horses there. I think you focus on other aspects. And I think Strom is we're talking about the long reliever. He's the dude. He's the guy. It doesn't have to be that mop-up guy. Yeah, there could be a Kobe, and it's nice to have that. But when you're putting Strom, Soto, Dominguez, Alvarado, and Hoffman, and Kirkering, what the fuck else do you need? What are we talking about bullpen? Bullpen's solid. That's an incredible bullpen. I'm all in on kind of changing, some of the batters. And I think, not getting into someone else's segments, but Rojas, Pache, Marsh, they're expendable. We have a depth there. I don't think you move and pay any money for a bullpen. And honestly, if they sign 2 starters, we have Abel. Could he be a number 5? And you move Walker to the bullpen to get his shit together, or tough shit, dude. You're a $20 million long reliever. That's cool with me too. That's just kind of where I am with the bullpen. I don't think you spend money on Hader. I think there needs to be an assigned closer and someone who can pitch. And here's why I hate Hader. He won't pitch 2 days in a row. This dude refuses. He will not do it. He's basically flat out said, I'm not pitching 2 days in a row. I don't give a fuck if it's the World Series, LCS. I'm not doing it. I don't love that. I get it. He's protecting himself. No, this is
I remember that
legit.
differently. I remember him saying, I'm on a team that's not in a race, so I'm not pitching 2 days in a row or for 4 outs. That's what I remember. He could have said it in a different time. I agree with you on assignment of roles, though, Chris. So this throw a dart, who's going to close thing, I haven't seen it work anywhere. And so you called it. What was 08? It was Romero, Madsen, Lidge. Pick it. Kirkering, Hoffman, Alvarado. I don't care who it is. Pick it though. And let's go with it. And if somebody gets hurt, then you plug someone else in. Like you said, Dominguez, Kirkering or Alvarado gets hurt, then you slide it around. But to me, it has to be assigned. It's your job. You said you were going to ask me that. I like knowing my assignment. I knew I pitched Wednesdays and Sundays in college. Wednesday was a 7-inning game, and Sunday was a 9-inning game. And if you tried to take the ball from me, I was going to fight you. So that's my mentality that I like to see. So just my opinion.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I do like Hater, but I did not know about that quote that he said before. I don't mind signing him, but if we don't, I do agree with Chris's opinion, and I do agree with delegating the roles. We haven't had that in a while because it's always for I don't know how many years we've had. Oh, so closer by committee, the eighth inning guy by committee. Even when we signed Kimbrel, it wasn't like you're the closer. Like no, remember it was Alvarado for a little bit, then it was Kimbrel, then Kimbrel started shitting the bed, and they just started topsy turvy. I do agree we have some arms, and Dugan pointed out before he left, we were using Strom in that long reliever role. Yeah, I do agree, but we were killing him. We were overusing him. I would like another guy to go with him, like that could fill that role. And it doesn't even have to be when we're losing. Just say Rangers pitching and we're winning, but he's just gassed or something. I'm just using him as an example. Say he's just gassed for who knows what reason. You can go throw Strom or this other guy out there maybe. Doesn't even have to be a stud name, just somebody. But I do agree. Yeah, we need the roles, and I think in a couple years, maybe a couple years, my man, he's going to be the closer. That's going to be the closer right there, baby. But
or why not next year? You know what I mean? I'm not against that either. Like,
why not? Right? Exactly. Why not?
Other teams do this shit. Why not
really
us?
fast before you close us out, Chris. This just in for the first time in history, both MVPs, Ronald Acuna Jr. and Shohei Ohtani, are unanimously voted in as MVP for the first time ever. So, just thought I'd throw that out there. Yeah, take us home, my friend.
All right. So, looking at our schedule, we're doing bi-weekly or bi-monthly. I never get to figure those out, but we're not going to be on until after Thanksgiving. So I wanted to say, happy Thanksgiving to everyone. I appreciate you guys tuning in live and listening on the web, Spotify and YouTube and Amazon and Apple and all of that. The second thing is we're probably going to do some cool shit before then. And one of the things is like Black Friday. We kind of get together. Black Friday is a huge beer event. Like a lot of breweries. So we'll post on the page where we're going to go. It would be awesome if people would want to join us. A lot of cool beers coming out, a lot of cool spots. And, in honor of the MVP getting announced just now, I'd like to say fuck Ronald Acuna. Fuck the Mets. Fuck the Yankees. Fuck New York. Fuck Joe Carter. Fuck Scott Rowland. And fuck the Diamondbacks too. So good night. Thank you for tuning in. And we'll catch you in 2 weeks on the 30th.
Thanks, everybody.